Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on, Batwoman Season 2, and this is going to be my review for Episode 3 for this season, otherwise entitled Batgirl Magic. But of course, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so if you've not watched the episode, feel free to go away, but if you just want to learn what happened in the episode, feel free to keep watching. Do whatever you want, I'm not controlling your life. The last episode was really the first proper episode of Ryan handling the dual roles of being, well, Batwoman as well as just her normal self, Ryan Wilder. So we saw some of the struggles there, and we also got some, knowledge about the things that happened in the past and everything like that, and also setting some stuff up going forward. And of course, Safiyah came into play with Tatiana, or the Whisper, or Whisper Adair, whatever they're going to officially call her on the show, taking both Sophie and Alice to the Mystery Island, which is where we pick up in this episode. But of course, throughout this video, let me know your opinions on this episode in the comments section down below. I'm always curious to hear what you guys have to say and any thoughts on some of the big reveals, because there's some reveals in this episode, or at least set up for potential reveals later on, which are confusing at the same time because of stuff that's happened previously. So we'll get to that in the video. And of course, if you're going to enjoy it, want to drop a like on it to show support, greatly appreciated. Now, the first thing I do want to bring up is that this is just a potential thing. I'm not saying it's definitely happening, but it's something I'm going to think about over the next 2 weeks. And that's that I may swap doing videos for the Batwoman reviews, and I may just do a live stream afterwards, which would include the review for Batwoman in a shorter, well, the same probably length that we do a video, but then also previewing the rest of the shows coming up later that week. Because by the time that happens, like Superman and Lois would only be like a couple of weeks away, The Flash only like 3 weeks away, so we might do that. Let me know your opinions on that in the comments section down below if you think it's a better idea and you'd rather the interactivity, if you want to call it, of a live stream afterwards. And the live stream will pretty much start like 15-20 minutes after the episode finishes, so it's not like an hour and a half, after the episode ends when my video would go up. So let me know your thoughts on that. It's also important to say no Batwoman next week because the Super Bowl's on. So yeah, don't keep your eyes out for it because it's not going to be there. But we do start this episode off by meeting Victor Zsasz. Now, we knew a Zazz at the very least was going to be in this season. They were calling him like something else, like Volantro Zsasz or some other weird name. It wasn't necessarily Victor, but we now know it's actually the proper Victor Zsasz from the comics. We do see him take out a man and his mistress, probably the best way to put it. I think his name was Capelli or Capellelli or something like that, or Calipelli, something like that. Now, people were worried when we'd seen the promo images of Victor Zsasz because he didn't have any scars on, but he was wearing like long sleeve clothing. But we do see he has like the scars all over his body, like it's everywhere. Like each one indicates it's someone that he has actually killed, and he's run out of space on his body, so he actually moves to his head. So just having the ones on his head obviously saves up a makeup time, because sometime in the comics, Victor Zsasz is running around with a shirt, like just without a shirt. He's got pants, but he's got no shirt on, so you can see all the scars. That would have been ridiculous for makeup, so I can understand why they didn't go down that route. But yeah, he's got some scars on his head now. Now, one thing that's set up is an addict buying snakebite from someone from the False Face Society, which also gets brought up later in the episode as well. Now, snakebite we also learned from, I think it was Jacob Kane talking to the Crows. It's like a combination, or it's made through a combination of like, I don't know if they use the term magic mushrooms, or they use mushrooms or something like that, but let's just say magic mushrooms, and also Scarecrow's fear toxin. So we knew Scarecrow was going to play a role in this season. I think it's sort of gone down a bit as to what it was going to be. But yeah, he's playing a role in the whole snakebite thing, which is being peddled by the False Face Society. But that whole deal that was going on is used as like a training ground for Ryan as Batwoman. If the eagle-eyed people would know that that's the same area that's been used in a couple of different things. But I think the most famous thing it's been used for was in Arrow, for that Prometheus reveal scene from Arrow season 5 when he comes down and kills someone. I can't remember who he kills, but that reveal scene is I think that the most famous scene used in that area. Now, Mary is now the owner of the Hold Up Bar, taking on from Kate, and it's used as a cover for Ryan as her employment, which makes sense. Gives Ryan some slack from her parole officer. Really, all she has to do is now find housing, and she's, not going to really be, hassled that much. Now, I think we're going to be in the Hold Up Bar a decent amount. Like we were there last season a good amount, but now they're going to use it almost like a jitters by the sounds of it. By the end of the episode, it looks like just a differently shaped jitters. Like all the, like Supergirl also uses the alien bar, so I know it cuts down costs because you can film longer scenes in there, but sort of annoying that we have a thing like that now. I'd prefer if they didn't, but we have it, so I guess we have to deal with it. It also just gives some, as I said, some slack to Ryan and explains a decent amount as to why people are hanging out and everything like that. Now, as I said before, Safiyah came into play really at the end of episode 1, but episode 2 sets up what's happening in this episode. And we do see Sophie and Alice wake up on Safiyah's island, Coriana, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure they filmed in the same area that they do the Lian Yu stuff. It looked similar, at least. Maybe there's a doppelganger beach area, but it looked like the Lian Yu area. I'm not too sure. But Safiyah is not happy at all with Alice spreading the word about the Desert Rose from Safiyah's island. But we learned that Safiyah actually didn't blow up Kate's plane. Obviously, you could say, is that actually real, or is that, Safiyah lying? But if that's the case, who did? And that's the mystery that's going to go forward soon as regards to what happened there. Now, we do see Victor Zsasz get into Hamilton Dynamics. I'm not sure how no one saw him take that guy's tie and name tag and I think kill him. Not too sure how that worked out, but anyway. But we do learn that Ryan actually has mutual acquaintances with him due to her past. Now, I thought they were going to make it that she'd spent time in prison with him or something like that, because she said last episode she'd been in Blackgate Penitentiary, and that's where a lot of Batman villains go, villains of Gotham. Not all of them go to Arkham Asylum. Some just go to Blackgate. So I thought maybe that's where she knew him, but no, it's just through a friend of a friend. Now, the first Victor Zsasz versus Batwoman encounter was just a bit of a fun one, a bit of a jokey one. I did like Victor Zaz's Van Halen reference. Always love those. Now, we did have Zsasz commenting on Ryan not really selling Batwoman and not seeing the Batwoman in her, sort of, or if not just pretty much setting up the new suit later in the episode. It's a bit on the nose, but you get that sometimes. The most random thing was the RPG. I mean, like, I know like Zsasz is seen as like a bit of an outlandish character, but having an RPG under your bar is, it might have been a bit too out there. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe it's just me, but I thought I was like, okay, that's just random. But anyway. Now, speaking of Victor Zsasz, his list of targets that he has is as random as it gets. There's no real connection anywhere. And we learned that Safiyah is actually the client tasking Zsasz with all of these hits, or at least a good amount of them. We find out it's because these people have had the Desert Rose blood or solution put through their bodies. So that's why they're targets now. And talking about the Desert Rose, we learned that Alice broke the cardinal rule of Coriana, or, Safiyah's island, as I said before, leaving the island with a Desert Rose. And of course, we know that Alice used the Desert Rose as an antidote for Mary to use, which led to that solution that we saw last episode. And she also used something similar on Beth last season. Something with the Desert Rose was used on Beth last season from memory as well. And speaking of that solution, it also cured that woman's cancer from earlier in the episode. So the Desert Rose is pretty OP. I mean, Lazarus Pit, eat your heart out. We got the Desert Rose. Now, Zazz hunting down Mary was an interesting scene. I mean, Mary didn't really seem to care that person that she works with died, but anyway, she seemed a bit too happy after all that went down. It's like, hold on, didn't that person you work with just get slaughtered? Anyway, but we see the debut of the new Batwoman suit, which we'd seen many times before in posters and promo images. So it wasn't like a massive reveal, but one, I guess, cool thing to note is that Ryan, I guess with the new suit, can now do her superhero landing properly. So there's something positive to take from it. The only thing is that she really redesigned that quickly. Like, one scene, she's just looking at it in the Batcave, then she goes away, then comes back and it's changed. Like, everything's changed. It's not just like the wig, like everything's changed. But anyway, maybe the Flash came in. Maybe Barry came in and went, I'll do it. I'm a good fashion designer, so let me do it quickly. Just tell me and show me what you want. Now, in regards to the new suit in motion, because I think, as I said earlier, like my episode 1 and 2 reviews, I think, Ryan Wilder looked good in the Kate suit, or looked much better in the Kate suit in motion, like in the actual episode, than promo images. And I was wondering, okay, is that going to be the same with the new suit? Because I was at the point where I was like, well, maybe she should have just kept the old suit, or maybe designed it a bit different, but kept the general outline of the suit, not change the overall design. And to be 100% honest, it is hard to tell fully. Like, I'm not 100% on board with the wig now. I think in certain ways it could be a bit over the top. Like, it doesn't really make too much sense. Like, you just sort of, I don't know if you could really be like too subtle with it, but then I guess it's dark, so it would sort of fit in with the darkness and everything like that. I think we'll have to wait until it's a more lit up scene rather than a nighttime alley scene. But from everything I was seeing online, people seem to be on board with the new suit, like the body that she has and everything, like the body part of the suit and everything is fine, and the back cowl, but maybe the wig should have been different. I think it's weird taking the red away just because it's so iconic with Batwoman, But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in the future. They might update it later in the season. They themselves might realize, okay, maybe that color scheme's not working. We'll change it a bit. You can play around with it. It's a suit. It's not like it's an actual, I don't even know what you would call it, like the qualities of a character. It's just an aesthetic thing. They can change as they go along. So we'll have to wait and see what they do there. But we did have the rookie error by Victor Zsasz by allowing Ryan to have her arms free. Or maybe it was a sign of disrespect. Could have been a sign of disrespect because he didn't really think that she was too much. But either way, both staff to the temple, so Victor Zsasz is gone, or knocked out at least. Now, one of the big reveals is that Safiyah has Kate's necklace, and as Safiyah says, if she had blown up the plane and Kate was dead, how could she have the necklace? Also, she says that she'll give Alice back her sister, which does bring up confusion in regards to if just Kate is alive. And that's that Ruby Rose, who of course played Kate in season 1, is obviously never going to come back. At least based on how the relationship between her and the show ended before. I'd be surprised if she came back. So if Kate shows up again, is it just a recast, whether it's for one episode or something? Or are they leaving the door open for Kate to come back in case, just in the weird circumstance, which doesn't really show at the moment, but you never know, by the end of the season it might show up. But in the circumstance that maybe Ryan Wilder as a character isn't working and they are struggling to use that character. I don't know, we'll have to wait and find out. But at the moment, it's just a bit confusing why they'd even keep the door open for Kate. I don't know. Or maybe they make something that like Safiyah just kills Kate off screen that just drives Alice or something. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, it's a bit confusing. But in regards to Kate, Alice has to do something for Safiyah before Kate is given back. It is also important to note that Safiyah sees some like a spark in Sophie. So let's see what happens with that. Sophie was kept alive, which Alice says like that. Oh, that's not usually a good sign because that means Safiyah has her eye on you. But Jacob is also notified about Kate potentially being alive by Sophie as well. So that will drive him going forward because he had the phone from the wreckage. So he was probably thinking, oh, she's gone. But let's see what happens there. But one of the big things that some people might have missed, I'm not too sure because it was just two people talking in the background, but we did have some Black Mask set up who we know is going to be a big bad this season. And we did have two Crow agents talking about a guy, and I think they said a wooden Black Mask being at the top of the False Face Society. So we know he's in this season, but it will be interesting to see when he shows up, if they've already cast him or something like that, and it's, you know, someone that's already been cast with another name that is actually Black Mask. We'll have to wait and see, but there's already set up there and we've already had some False Face Society stuff going on. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a fun episode. It was a bit ridiculous. Like, one thing I also need to know, is anyone getting really annoyed by the voiceovers now from the newscaster? It was okay in season 1, but there was just, sometimes it just seems a bit over the top. I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be in every episode. Maybe it shouldn't be in every episode. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was a fun episode. And set some stuff up. I was mainly more interested in the Safiyah stuff. I don't know if that was just me, but then again, I think once Ryan gets into the full swing of the Batwoman stuff, then that stuff might become more interesting. But in this episode, I think I found the Safiyah stuff more interesting. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode, any of your theories going forward in regards to Kate and stuff. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.